What is going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about inheritance again. So, when we're defining child classes, there are going to be cases where parent class does not perfectly describe the instances of the child class with its respective attributes and methods. There are even cases where the methods of a parent class may not make sense for a child class, even if inheriting all the parent attributes is logical. In these cases, we can override methods of the parent class in the child class by defining a new method of the same name. Now, the method will work as intended for the parent class, but when called by an instance of the child class, the overridden version of this method will be called instead. So in this particular case, since filling a gas tank is a method of the parent class, it's inherited by the child class, but it doesn't make sense to fill a gas tank of an electric car. So we define a method of the same name within the child class to override the parent method. Sometimes when classes begin to get more complicated, it's helpful to write a whole separate class to describe one attribute of another class. In this example, battery is an attribute of the car class. However, a battery can have many unique individual properties, so we take advantage of an object-oriented approach by defining a new class to represent the battery attribute of the electric car class. Notice that the battery class does not inherit from any other class, it is separate. When we use this method, we define an attribute of the electric car class as an instance of the battery class. So we effectively create an instance of another class within the init method of the electric car class. I'll demonstrate this in a minute. So this is where we define the self.battery attribute of the electric car class as an instance of the battery class. Now the attribute of the electric car class has all the attributes of the battery class and can access all the methods within the battery class. Since the battery attribute is stored as an instance of another class, the battery class, we can access the methods of the battery class. To do this, we must use the dot operator on an instance of the electric car class, then again on the battery attribute, since the battery attribute is defined as an instance of another class, battery. So we use the dot operator twice because we're accessing the battery attribute of my Tesla, and then we're accessing the methods of the battery attribute since it is an instance of another class.